Hello dear learners, in this video we will study about complexometric titration, the basic principle, reaction, as well as the type of complexometric titration like direct titration, back titration, replacement titration and indirect titration. So let us start with complexometric titration. So what is complexometric titration? Here we can say basically complex means the endpoint will be complex with color. It's a complexometric titration. In this technique, we are titrating the metal ions with the complexing agents, or we can say chelating agent or ligand, and is commonly referred to as complexometric titration. Means here the metal ion react with complexometric agent, or we can say chelating agent, or the ligand, or we can say sequestering agent, and it will produce the metal coordination compound, or we can say the metal complex or chelate compound in presence of metal ion indicators, or we can say PM indicators. The indicators which are used in a complexometric titration is basically known as PM indicators, or we can say the metal ion indicator. Why it is known as metal ion indicator? Because this kind of indicator will react in presence of metal only. That's why it is known as metal ion indicator or PM indicators. So this method represents the analytical application of complexation reaction. Here we can say what is it? A simple ion is transformed into a complex ion. An equivalence point is determined by using metal indicators, or we can say electrometrically, means we can say spectroscopic methods we can use for determination of endpoint. Now various other names of this method are like chelometric titrations, EDTA titrations. Now these chelons react with metal ion to form a special type of complex, and it is known as chelate. We can say this one is known as chelate. Whatever this metal react with this complexic agent, and it will form a chelate, or we can say the metal complex in the presence of metal ion indicator. Now we will see the example with the reaction. What is it actually? So here we can say the metal ions in a solution are always solvated. For example, definite number of solvent molecules. Usually here there is a definite numbers of metal is used like 2, 4 and 6 are firmly bound to the metal ion. These bound solvent molecules are replaced by other solvent molecules or ions during the formation of a metal complex, or we can say metal co-coordination, or we can say metal coordination complex. The molecules or ion which displace the solvent is known as ligands. Means here if we can see the example, this copper have OH twice. Okay, now we are adding 4NH3. This is our other solvent. We can say the ligands. Whatever product we will get, it's known as the complex, right? So here this is our ligand NH3. Why? Because what is ligand? The molecules or ions which displace the solvent molecule. Here OH is displaced by NH3. So NH3 will be our ligand. So this is the example of complexometric titration. This is our metal ion complex. Now we will see the bonding in complexes. So the bonds, whatever bonds are formed are of two types. Either it will be ordinary covalent bonds or coordinate bonds. Now what is covalent bond? So it is a bond in which a metal and the ligand contribute one electron each, or we can say coordinate bonds in which both electrons are contributed by the ligand. Thus we can say in this example, if we will see the example of hexacyanoferrate. This is the hexacyanoferrate ion. So it consists of 3 ordinary covalent bonds and 3 coordinate bonds. There are 3 ordinary covalent bond and 3 coordinate bonds. So this is, we can say, the hybrid bonds are there. In a complex, The bonds are identical hybrid bonds which have been shown to be directed towards the apex of a regular octahedron. This is the example of a bonding complexes. We can simplify it by this example. See, here actually what happened, the negative charge on a complex is equal to the total number of negative groups minus the valency of metal ion. Okay, we will see this sentence. This is the explanation of this sentence. Now, basically what happened when there is a neutral groups, so the charge on a complex is positive and is equal to the metal ion. For example, in this example, here we are getting positive charge because our copper is positive. Now, when there is a different ions, what will be the reaction? We will see. If we will talk about coordination number. So the number of coordinate bonds formed to a metal ion by its ligand is known as coordination number. For example, what are the characters of coordination number? So first thing, it is even number. As I said, it should be 2, 4 or 6. For example, Na plus 2, Cu plus 2, Ag plus, Fe plus 3, Cr plus 3 in the form of the double charge, means it is usually double the charge of a metal. The charges of a complex, means how we can identify the charges of a compound. For example, why there is a negative charge over here and why there is a negative charge over here and the 3 number is here. So we have to see this one. In this example, if we will dissociate this ions, so there will be Ag plus and 2 Cn minus. So there is a 1 positive charge, there is a 2 negative charge, so it will give us 1 negative charge. That's why this compound have a negative charge. And in this example, if we will see, there is a 3 positive charge, there is a 6 negative charge. So obviously we will get a 3 negative charge. So the higher the valency of a metal ion, the more stable the complex. For example, ferric cyanide is more stable than ferrocyanide. The type of complexometric titration. So we will see in detail the type of complexometric titration. So first is a direct titration, back titration, then replacement and alkalimetric, or we can say indirect titration. Now we will see direct titration. So what is direct titration? So direct titration is nothing, it's just a simplest titration. As we can see, the other type of titrations like acid base titration is a direct titration. Means when we will add our titrant, okay, our compound, our analyte, we can identify, we can estimate directly. Okay, so most convenient method. In this method, the standard Chelan solution is added. Means as I said, when we will add the solution from burette to the metal ion, which we will take in a conical flask until the endpoint is detected. So after some time, we will get our endpoint. So this method is analogous to a simple acid-base titration. For example, calcium gluconate injection, calcium lactate tablets, and compound sodium lactate injection for the assay of calcium chloride. So these are the example of a simple, or we can say a direct titration. Now some limitations are there for a direct titration. Sometimes there will be interference due to presence of other ions, and it is a slow complexation reaction. Means in complexometry, what is our endpoint? The complex formation. So this complex formation is a slow process in this direct titration. This is the limitation of this type of titration. Now we will see the back titration. As we know what is back titration, so in this method, what happened? The excess of a standard EDTA solution is added to the metal solution, which is to be analyzed, and excess means what? For example, if there is a 100% EDTA solution and we are adding 100%. Now 70% EDTA is already consumed by metal ion. So there will be a 3% which is unreacted. Means what? The excess is back titration. This 30% will be back titrated with a standard solution of a second metal ion. For example, we will see the example, determination of manganese. This metal cannot be directly titrated with EDTA because the precipitation of manganese hydroxide. We cannot directly titrate manganese with EDTA. That's why we have to refer the back titration method. Because manganese, when we will add EDTA, it will convert it into manganese hydroxide. So what we will do in this type of titration? An excess of non-volume of EDTA is added to an acidic solution of Mn salt, means manganese salt. Then ammonia buffer is used to add. We have to add ammonia and the excess EDTA remaining after chelation. After complexation, whatever EDTA will be remains. As I said, 30%. It will be back titrated with a standard zinc. Okay, so solution kept in burette using Erythrom back T as an indicator. Means what? We have used in this 70% to make this complex. But now the 30% remains. So this 30%, we have to titrate this 30% with zinc. So from this EDTA, we will find the amount of manganese consumed. So this method is analogous. This method is analogous to back titration method in acidimetry, for example, zinc oxide. So this is how, means for example, firstly we have to make our complex. After that, for example, from 100%, 70% EDTA is consumed and 30% remains. But we don't know that 70% is used. Now we have to find how much manganese consumed EDTA. So how we can find it? From, in place of manganese, we can find the amount of manganese from EDTA, means the remaining unreacted solution, by using the other standard, that is a zinc as a metal. So this is back titration method. Now we will see the another one. It's a replacement titration. So what is replacement titration? So in this method, the metal which is to be analyzed displaces quantitatively the metal from the complex. Means what? That we will see by example. And when this method is used, so when direct or back titration do not give a sharp endpoints, the metal may be determined by displacement of equivalent amount of manganese or zinc from a less stable EDTA complex. Means what? For example, in one beaker we have to take EDTA solution. Now we are adding magnesium. Okay, so what happened? There will be a formation of magnesium EDTA complex. Now in that particular beaker, if we are adding manganese, what happened? This manganese displaces the magnesium. So it will produce a manganese EDTA complex. Means what? If here the 60% magnesium EDTA will form, then 60% manganese will displace the 60% magnesium. That's why it said the similar amount of ions is displaced. For example, here magnesium displaced manganese from EDTA solution. So the freed magnesium metal is then directly titrated. Now this magnesium is directly titrated with a standard EDTA solution. In this method, the excess quantity of magnesium EDTA chelate is added to manganese solution. So what happened? Magnesium will be displaced by manganese, okay, and magnesium will be free. So it will displace quantitatively this, okay. So this displacement takes place because manganese forms a more stable complex with EDTA than magnesium. So we can identify easily the magnesium. So by this method, the calcium, lead, okay, other ions or the metal may be determined using Erythrom black tea indicator. So this is the replacement titration. Now we will see the last and other type of titration. It's a indirect titration, or we can say alkalimetric titration of metal. Now when we have to use this method, so generally this method is used for determination of ions such as anions which is not react with EDTA chelate. For example, some heavy metals are there that will not directly react with EDTA. That's why we have to use alkalimetric titration. We will use the method, that's why it is known as indirect titration. So a heavy metal will be titrated with a sodium alkali. Here we have to use the protons. What we have to do, this is our EDTA solution. So in EDTA we have to add acid, so it will be protonated. So protons from disodium EDTA are displaced. These protons are displaced by heavy metal and titrated with the sodium alkali. What we have to do? Here we are adding proton. Okay. So what happened? This is our metal ion. So this metal, when it will react with EDTA, okay, this H2 will be displaced, and the amount of H2 will be displaced, okay, it will decide the amount of metal which will reacted. So this is how this reaction occurs. Here we will take one example of barbiturate. So barbiturate do not react with EDTA but are precipitated from alkaline solution by mercuric ions. We have to add mercuric ions as a 1:1 complex. We will see the example. So two methods are there. We will see first indirect method. So here barbiturate to be analyzed is taken in a flask. We have to take barbiturate in a flask. We have to heat it with excess of mercury in alkaline solution. When a precipitated Hg barbiturate, means mercury barbiturate complex is formed, it is filtered and dissolved in excess of standard EDTA solution. We have to dissolve it in a standard EDTA solution. After that, the unreacted EDTA solution we have to take, and it will be back titrated with a standard zinc. So we can identify the amount of present barbiturate. So we have to see some important points like direct titration and indirect titration. So analysis of copper, manganese, calcium, barium, bromine, zinc, cadmium, mercury, aluminium, thallium. Okay, this kind of compounds we can identify by direct titration, and the analysis of sodium, potassium, silver. Okay, so this kind of metals we can identify by indirect titration. Thank you dear learners for watching the video. In the next video we will see the metal ion indicator as well as the masking and demasking agents. Learning.